very protected when you were...
Yeah, but still I suffered. One time it was freezing, freezing, and I saw this like a covered wagon, you know. It must have been from some establishment or something, part to do with the establishment or something, on the side of the road, a covered wagon. I said, oh, I'll go into the covered wagon. I'm freezing. And I saw what looked like a door in the front, you know, a cloth or something, so I can go in and get out from the cold. No food or nothing, freezing to death. And so I got up there, and it was wood. I couldn't get in. Oh. And it was so beautiful. I was freezing. Oh my God. And I felt I could get some shelter. Yeah. And it was, yeah. It was,
did you just sleep out in fields?
I would just lay down on the ground.
Anywhere?
Oh, right in the auto park. You know a place where cars park?
Parking lot.
Yeah, it was in like ground, more somewhat wooded area, by the side of the road. And there was a small trailer there, and a man and his wife. And I down in the next empty spot where they were on the ground, and sleeping on the ground. And the guy, and I was growing. I had mung bean sprouts. I was growing. I picked them up. I looked at them. I was hungry, and they hadn't even sprouted because it was so cold out. Oh. And I heard the guy in the window saying, "Look at that pool. So and so. Look, he doesn't even. He's sleeping on the ground. He goes to the bathroom. He probably has to use his hands. Look at that poor guy. And you're always complaining. I don't have a trailer, one of these modern nice trailers, like these wealthy people. They're always complaining. Look at that poor guy. He doesn't have anything. He's on the ground freezing. He looked up the stuff. It's not raw. And he saw it. It was the one he's starving. He says, you ought to be thankful for what you have, instead of bugging me all the time, comparing me to someone else. They got so much better. And she says, Tom, I'm sorry. He says, I'll never do it again. She apologized to him. He says, see, there's always somebody worse. There's always somebody richer and always somebody poorer. Just be happy what you have, you know? And so I helped to heal them in a way. Yeah. By laying down there, I did some good. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so it was like that. So I paid my dues.
There were probably a lot of people who...
I'm not just wearing the saffron, trying to impress people.
There were probably a lot of people who observed you, who, even if they weren't willing in this lifetime to live that way, you
influenced them.
Planted a seed.
A lot of people.
You planted a seed in their soul or in their consciousness that, oh, look, someone actually can live that way. Like you were symbolic to them.
Yeah, I helped a lot of people. The guy says, you're just a Swami, you're just the one I wanted to see. Swami. And they, you know, people say, where you going? I say, I'm going to see some devotees. And they say, what devotees? I say, I don't know, but they'll be there. And that's how it happens. Yeah. See? That's how it happens.
I know.
Yeah, I don't have to put out a shingle on my door. You know, bring your money. Money's important, we need it. I don't mean it that way. But I'm not, that's not my trip. And yogis come, saints come, regular people come. Whoever the karma God sends to come. I don't need to put a shingle. You don't have to advertise in a newspaper about the Kumbha Mela. They've never spent a dime to advertise the Kumbha Mela. It just happens, right, by God's grace. And that's the way it is. That's the way I like to do it. Not to get into ego myself, but that's the way I like to do it. Let it happen naturally by God. Never mind, you know, what you can get out of somebody or how you can manipulate them. I don't need an advertisement in a newspaper. Who's got to be here will be here. And Shiva Baba Yogi showed up, wanted me to go with him into the desert. They had a spiritual festival, and Swami Sage Swami Shantanan. Whoever's supposed to be there will be there. And it could be a famous person or a totally unknown. It doesn't matter. They're all equal.
Didn't Osho stop for you once?
Osho stopped and picked me up in his car. I was walking down the road, you know, and I see this Rolls Royce go by, and there's a young guy in the front driving. And I see, no, I pick it all up. I just glance, and I already seen the whole thing. Some guy reaches up front, and I know immediately he's telling him, the guy over here. So he stops, he says, give in, we're going down this way, we'll give you a lift. And there's some guy sitting next to me, and he's turned toward me, looking at me. You know, to the right, not to the left, but I'll do it to the left. He's looking at me like, you know, admiration, respect, I don't know, just good vibes. I said, if I want to be like anybody, I'd like to be like this guy. He's got good vibes. And he never blinked an eyelash. Never blinked. Never blinked. He had complete control. And it was like love, respect, admiration, or I recognize you, I know who you are. Cause that's what Satya Sai Baba did that one. I was sitting there and he walked by. And his head spun around like that. He looked like that. Then he turned and he walked about 3 or 4 steps. And he went back a second time. Then he went a few more steps. Then he went back a third time. So they see something. He did a triple take. And so, and I left him. I left the car. They said, this is as far as we're going. We got to go back up north. Yeah, Rajneeshpur, where he came from. I didn't know it was him.
Oregon.
Yeah. Years later, I saw a picture in a book. I said, oh, there was Baba and Rajneesh. I saw Baba and Rajneesh.
In one of his Rolls Royces.
Yeah. One of his 50, 60, 70 Rolls Royces. Yeah, he liked me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I stepped out of the car, I said, if I ever like to be like somebody, I like to be like this guy. He really had good vibes. Good vibration. So, yeah, I've been walking for years, and the idea was tapas yoga. Because I didn't know too much technical yoga I could do. But I figured I could always walk.
Yeah.
I could always walk. And I'm a yogi, instantaneously I'm a yogi, I'm doing tapas. Yeah. I don't have to go to initiations and, you know, yeah, I just, yeah, so that's what I did most of my life. Yeah. My sadhana, walking, and sleeping in cemeteries and graveyards, and by crocodile pits in Florida, and copperhead snake, rattlesnake holes in the desert, and under railroad spans and overpasses, and in the deserts and in the woods, and the forests, and in rooftops and in trees, and alleyways and cellars, and abandoned autos and haunted houses and abandoned houses, and by the railroad tracks, you name it, I slept there.
You walked the talk.
Yeah.